تفضل. 5. But get book 2 when you start. You ready to start? Get to start. The book, please, for the brother. Memorizing Quran.
We're using one juice, 15 to 40 minutes. Memorizing is 30 to 60 minutes for one page. Any audio you can suggest as an example?
Sorry. Question comes from Belgium. Initials FA. How fast should I read when I'm reviewing or memorizing with regards to the Quran, etc.? Like I said, or like you said, memorizing and reviewing is one thing, and reading the Quran with the purpose of reflection is a different thing. When I was in Medina, my first year, I noticed that many students, when they were memorizing something, when they were reviewing what they memorized, they would read really super fast. And then they would read really fast. And then when it was time to recite to the sheikh, they would recite it in a normal speed. You see what I'm saying to you? But sucking it up and compressing it into their heads, they would do it like that. So I tried it out a few times, whether it was hadiths or Quran or whatever I was trying to memorize, and I found that it was effective. And that's because when you're memorizing it, you're not necessarily doing it with the intention of pondering and reflecting. It doesn't mean that you can't ponder and reflect, because I can try to memorize something and benefit from it immediately, but that's not the primary objective. The primary objective is to do what? It's to sponge it up, right? Just like a child, teaching the child the Quran, and the child doesn't understand what he's reciting and what he's reading. Does a 6-year-old or a 7-year-old know the verses of Baqarah about talaq and divorce and menstruation and things like this? No. And it's unbefitting for them to get into that at that young age. But that opportunity of that elastic mind, that sponge, is limited. You ever understand this? So there's a difference. So with regards to the Quran, you should have 3 daily portions, basically. Number 1 is a daily portion of reading it. Number 2, a daily portion of memorizing it, if you already haven't memorized it. And number 3 is a daily portion of reviewing it. Reviewing and memorizing it can be done quick, can be done fast. You can read it super fast speed because it's a method. It's a what? It's a method. And there's no specific hadith that's authentic that restricts into a specific manner or style regarding memorizing the Quran. And we know that from one thing we learn 10,000 things. When it comes to the question about rocking, is it permissible to rock when we recite the Quran or when we read it? Is it permissible to sit in a corner and rock back and forth? Is it permissible? Okay, we know that some people that say, oh, you can't do this, it's imitating the Jews. The Jews, they rock at the wall, etc. Perhaps. But there are some ulama who say, that I've read, that it's permissible. And that's because when you rock back and forth, you're not rocking with the intention of ibadah. You're rocking with the intention as a method of memorizing rhythm. And memorizing can be burdensome. It can hurt. It takes effort. You have to apply yourself to memorize something. So it's like you doing what? It's like you're minimizing the burden of memorization and getting rhythm and speed. So they say there's no specific for a very fast manner, and you can memorize it properly. There's nothing wrong with that. Okay? Or you listen to a lecture, you may increase the speed instead of taking an hour per hawk. And obviously speed and lack of speed is relative from person to person. It's subjective. You may say you're reciting too fast. To me, it's normal speed. And you're reciting too slow. Allah Azza wa Jalla truly knows best. It's a bid'ah to do this. It's a bid'ah to go down on your knees first. You have to put your hands here. The beard is like this. The sajda mark like that. It was a collection of sporadic